Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my cyber crop challenge for Hey Little Magpie. And for this challenge we're doing this or that. I've gathered all my Vicki Boutin Discover and Create range. Obviously, as you can see, I've used quite a bit of it and I'm just trying to decide on a background paper that I want to use. And I settle on this, which is the B-side of the Create paper. And I've decided that I'm going to actually go with a bit of a colour scheme, and I'm going to go with like pinks, oranges and purples. So I'm going to have a look through my stash, and I've got some bits and pieces in the tray there on the left that I've already picked out, and I'm going to use that dark purple to go behind the photo. You might have noticed there I've used two pieces from the 6x8 pad to go down the right hand side. You can see the gap at the moment between them, but I'm aiming to hide that a little bit more later on. So welcome to the cyber crop. I'm the first challenge today, which would be the 10th of February 24. Obviously, if you're watching this later, the challenge is only running till Sunday the 25th of February 2024. You can find all the details on the Hey Little Magpie Facebook group, but you've got to be in it to win it, and there are prizes of points for the shop. So if you do take part, make sure that you upload your layout to the right album on the Facebook group. Excuse me. So as you can see, this seems to be coming together quite well. I've got lots of bits and pieces still left over, and for the this and that challenge I've given you 5 this or that's to think about. So I've asked you to use one photo or two, and I'm using one. I've asked you to use tags or frames, and I'm using tags there that I'm going to tuck in down the photograph. I've asked you to use hearts or stars, and I'm going to use hearts. I've already got one there on the photograph. I ask you to use flare or buttons, and I'm going to use some buttons, mainly because it's a baby photo and I thought they would fit in and add a little bit of chunky texture at the same time. And then I ask you to use thread or ribbon, which I haven't actually done yet, but I will as we go along. So I think this isn't too hard a challenge. I think you can use any range that you like. You can also use other bits and pieces. Obviously, I've not mentioned the flowers or the leaves. So you can use other embellishments as well. So I quite like the way this has come together quite quickly for me, I must add. So I'm now going to start to think about sticking this down. And I want to have a look at joining these two papers so that I can pattern match. So they're not going to end up completely in line. They may overhang a little bit. So I'm making sure that I've stuck the edge of the first one down completely. And I'm just trying to match up the second one. So now when I put the photo back in place, the join is very subtle, and I'm quite happy with that. So I'm just going to put the matted photo on a piece of foam, and I'm happy with that, and I'm going to start to embellish again around it. Some of these flowers were cut from a 12x12 paper, and I didn't actually cut around the fiddly bits at the time, so I'm just going to trim them off now to make sure that they're all nice, and they've got just a little bit of a white border around the fiddly bits. I mean, you can't get too close to these, or else they would promptly fall off, but I'm just going to tidy them up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'll bring in some foam pads so that I can actually just raise these up, because I've already raised the photo, so I'm going to tuck some behind and some on top. This photo is nearly 24 years old, but it's one that I really love. I have scrapped it before, but I thought it went really well with the colours of this Discover and Create Vicki Boutin range. So what I would, just to remind you, so obviously this cyber crop is for today only, which would be the 10th of February. There are a number of challenges all day, so do stick around. And as I say, everything needs to be in the right albums by Sunday the 25th of Feb on the Hey Little Magpie Chat and Inspiration Facebook group. I don't know whether you like these sort of challenges. By all means, let me know what you think. This is the first time I've done a this or that. Actually took me a little bit to think about it, but I can't wait to see such a diverse range of layouts, because I think I've given you lots of choices, which means that you can scrap pretty much any sort of situation, any sort of photograph, So I'm looking forward to lots going in the album that are diverse. I will be looking at them all and commenting on them all. So once you've done this challenge, get it up in the album. So I'm just working out where these flowers are going to go. I also took in a couple of acorns just because they were part of this range and I couldn't necessarily see me using them anywhere else. The colours work really well. So there's a pink one at the bottom. I've got another one there on the left that I will add near the top. I also saw the ladybirds. I hadn't used those from this collection either. So I'm actually going to use 3 of those because we all know that odd numbers are always better and they help visually with your eye. So I'm going to add those as well. I thought it might be a little tough for me to say you needed to use an insect or an animal on your layout because it obviously depends what collection you're going to use. But it did make me smile when I was trying to think of what would be good choices that most people would have in their stash. Because obviously the idea of challenges is to get lots of people involved. So, and that's something we really like to do at Hey Little Magpie. So just as a recap for this or that challenge, it says hearts or stars. And I've got some hearts there. There will be one going back on the photo, but I've got some like puffy gold ones as well. 1 photo or 2. I've got 1 photo. Buttons or flare. And there will definitely be buttons by the end of this layout. Tags or frames, and there's the tags just going in by the side there. And I'm just layering on some of the buttons that I've seen. And then thread or ribbon. So that's the one thing I need to remember to add. Just tucking these little bits in on the sides of the photograph. I've tried very much to cover the line where the 2 pattern papers meet, just to make it look a little bit more coordinated. And as you can see, even with that ladybird, you can't see really the join in the papers. So I was quite pleased how that came together. So I picked out some buttons out my stash that are oranges, pinks, whites and purples, and I'm going to dot those around as well. This Moments is what from the same Discover and Create Vicki Boutin collection, and I'm just going to pop one end up on foam just so that it balances nicely on the photo. And I've just trimmed that down. It did say the little things. I'm going to just put the little moments. If you've had a baby, you'll know that when they're sleeping, they are little moments. So I thought that made me smile when I thought that I'd use that as a title. This was also taken in the hospital, if you can tell by the fishbowl type crib that she's in. So this is very much an early photograph. So I've tidied up around myself. I know what I want to use. I've had the So Amazing journaling, and I brought in just a soft green embroidery thread. I'm using it as a full 6 threads. I've threaded it through a needle. I just find that easier way to thread the buttons. So some of them I've done as crosses, if they've got 4 holes, or as 2 lines. It's very subtle, you wouldn't tell particularly, but there's definitely thread going in the button. So that's the last on my this or that, thread or ribbon, and that's ticked off. I'm also going to add some thread to the 2 tags just to keep with the theme and add a little bit more contrast. So please subscribe to our channel. You'll get to see all our videos. Give it a thumbs up. And I'm just finishing off here now, and at the end there'll be some close-ups and a full image as well. So enjoy the cyber crop, and we hope to see you here again real soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.